Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and today we are headed back to Azeroth, and honestly, it's a lot of fun! I will be completely kind of surprised even of myself that after 15 years, having put like thousands of hours into multiple characters previously, and going pretty hard for probably the first 4 or 5 years of World of Warcraft, took a big break. Now, shout out to Blizzard and this partnership opportunity. This is a sponsored set of streams and videos. That being said, they're not going to tell me what I can and can't say about the content that I played. So these are my opinions and views, but I do want to let you guys know I was provided with a code for the War Within Epic Edition, which did came with a level boost. And the big thing about the level boost is it allowed me to kind of jump straight into the new content. So I took my warrior, boosted him up to 70, and was able to jump right in. And honestly, when it comes to World of Warcraft, I don't think I can talk about a Blizzard game without reminding you guys some of the cinematics, but oh my gosh, the War Within cinematic that gets this thing started, I don't know very often when I'm surprised by cinematics, but it did 3 things. Surprised me how detailed some of their cinematics get. Diablo 4 did the same thing, but this is pretty awesome. The emotion you get out of Anduin in this scene is pretty epic. And then also when it comes to World of Warcraft, it's always been a huge game. Sense of scale is always a fun thing to mess with, especially in like even movies and other forms of entertainment. But in this one, the cinematic explained that this is the first expansion in the Worldsoul Saga. And as it says, the sword is pointed at something, but the sword is just on another level. So watch these couple clips real quick, and then we'll get into the game.
I am not that person anymore. I have no light. Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
You are not your past, Anduin. But that sword was aimed at someone.
So here we are, it's been 15 years, I'm back with my Tauren warrior in World of Warcraft, and to be honest with you, a lot of people I think would find starting World of Warcraft daunting, and I'm not going to say it's not, but what I will tell you is a lot of people who have fallen off of World of Warcraft have lost their clans, their groups that they play with, and also you guys know that I tend to specialize in solo content for a lot of things, how you can be successful as a solo player. What World has done to allow me as a solo player to pretty much play non-stop by myself, doing a delve, which is like a mini dungeon, a quest in the Rookery, not needing a player to help me at all because they have cool things that will help assist you, and I think that's some of the best stuff that's in here. Now, there are some really big surprises when it comes to flying. You used to like run around on a mountain and have like 60% and then 100% and then 100% flying. They reinvented flying in this game, so travel now can be pretty much on another level. So you've got the ability to fly around, but now as you gain speed, flap your wings, gain some momentum, really start diving through, gaining some speed, you can start to move and cover some ground. You can bank, which is just awesome, because if you ever want to have a little fun like in a aircraft and flight simulator, banking your giant bird thing that we've got here is a ton of fun. So the flying, for one, goes up to 700% speed now, so the fact that you've got the ability just to cover ground, get where you need to, and just, you know, have no worries about getting to your quests or anything. I was able to get to everywhere I needed to go, no time flat. So not a lot of waiting around, basically jumping straight in very, very quickly. So the new, and again, this mount did come with the Epic expansion, but even an old mount that I have, still able to do the same thing. So flying mounts are definitely fantastic now, and they kind of even take you through a little bit of that in one of the quests. So that is one of the surprises. Two, when it comes to your talents, when I did the character progression boost, jumped me up to 70, and it gave me all of this. So you got talent trees now. This has all been redone since I've played. I feel like they simplified it and did some other things, and now you got some options again. Had a lot of talent tree points that were spent already. Seemed to be a reasonable build, but I haven't gone through every single nook and cranny because I just hit the ground running. Didn't even have to really think too much about it. Tons of talents. And yes, it's still World of Warcraft. You got toolbars. You got a lot of things that you're going to need to figure out. But, you know, took me a minute or two to kind of get my combat flow going. But now I've got some cool stuff. But you even got these, like, upgraded ones. And I've only looked at the warrior so far. So I've got the option to go two ways. Either a veteran of countless battles who can shrug off attacks and would fell others. I have a Colossus mode. Straight up just turn into a beast. And then this Demolish is going to swing multiple big attacks back and forth while channeling, doing a bunch of damage, and I can even do like certain defensive abilities while channeling Demolish as well. So I'm wailing big things, still able to put up like a shield block or anything like that. Pretty cool stuff. You can go on the other side, you can go Mountain Thane, and take that to another level as well. So the fact that the skill trees are already still here, yeah, that might take you a little while to get used to, but now there's even more to unlock here in the middle. Gives you another playstyle, because truly the Colossus, you can look at me right now, just kind of like zoom in, I'll kind of put myself next to a tree for comparison. I truly turn into, it's not going to get crazy, but like you can see that I will actually grow noticeably in size. I've got the shields around me. Demolish is something I can put on now, and I've got more abilities than I ever did. I mean, I've got a shockwave ability. I've got the ability to throw this champion spear pretty far away for ranged attacks. I've got this storm bolt, which I can throw my weapon. I can actually have like a ranged circular attack for groups of enemies. That's really cool. The heroic leap, haven't had that one. And again, I haven't played in 15 years, so some of the stuff may have been there, but there's just so many more abilities that I've got to mess with now as whatever class I am. I feel like you can have a lot of fun with a variety of classes, and you're not quite as hamstrung to a specific role. And especially if you're going to play by yourself, you can lean into it hard, but you can also have some fun while you're running around the world and not feel like you're not doing enough. So even as a full-on protection tank, basically, is what I'm going into, I'm still able to put out plenty of damage to be able to do everything I need to do. So, I mean, you got talents, the UI little stuff as well. So like, oh, look, the map is up. For one, they have a mini map with the quest log. You can go full map if you want to. You can kind of see like this is the new area and zone. So I'm on this island. I was just getting into here a little bit. Come out a little farther to Azeroth. Like when I played, it was World Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms. I remember Northrend coming in. That was a big deal. I missed a lot of this stuff in the middle. So there's plenty that I didn't play. But to be honest, it's one of those that like the game is huge. And there's always going to be plenty of stuff to explore, but if you want to jump into the new stuff, you can. And you might want to watch a YouTube video to be able to like catch up on the story per se. But overall, you've got some really like nice ways to help a solo player hit the ground running. And another one is this little spot. These are called delves. These are brand new for the War Within. And what they're going to do is they're going to be like a dungeon you could technically solo because they give you an assistant. And I honestly am very surprised, but very happy how it worked. So I went in as a tank, for example, and I set my guy up to be a healer. You could probably go in the reverse as well if you wanted to be more of a support class or maybe DPS or something. You could set your guy up to be a tank and take the damage in front, and you could be in the back. And the fact that they give you an assistant who's going to level up with you, get better abilities while I'm going through it, and again, I'll probably put some footage on screen while I'm talking about this so you can see a little bit. He's helping, he's, you know, doing some range shots, he's chunking potions at my feet, doing a ton of different things that really just make your life easier, but also mean you are not required to have another player with you. And also the fact that in the new dungeons and stuff, they seem to have more mechanics to them. So maybe I'm not supposed to step on the ground in the spider webs, otherwise it's going to spawn some spiders. So they have these things that you can kind of like hook shot to and travel around the area. They also had mechanics to where if you put on disguise, you kind of had to do a little stealthing and evading some enemies. And overall, I just had a fun time going through a dungeon by myself with my little helper buddy. And I still went through, got some gear, and had a good time. And that is set up to even be very manageable for a solo player. But you've also got like 10 tiers in difficulty, even just going up to like tier 2. I noticed the substantial difference. So you're going to have plenty of a challenge by yourself. And as you level up and get more experience for your helper assistant guy that comes with you, you're going to be able to push farther and farther. There's still going to be the raids and the big dungeons and stuff like that, but you can do a lot more as a solo player. same thing that happened. Like, I'm running around here in kind of like the second quest area, but the big city over there, Dornegal, in Storm's Watch, there's like this rookery quest that you go through over there, and I'll probably put that footage up here right now. But in the beginning, you're asked if you want to be a tank or, you know, support or something like that. I chose a tank. It didn't match me with anybody because I guess I didn't ask, or maybe didn't choose the right thing, but I wasn't even worried about it because then there were like 8 other guys with me all running around, and I had the option. I could either be a leader of the group, call for assistance maybe if I'm getting overrun, or maybe if I'm more of a support class, I could pull back and I could let them run the show. So as a tank, of course, I ran ahead. But it really allowed me to just jump into the campaign, which, by the way, the campaign hits hard. It goes fast. I mean, when you're talking about, you know, city devastating situations, which I don't want to give away too many spoilers or anything, but there are some implications to what happens just in the opening of the campaign. You're going, okay, we're doing some real stuff now. And I gotta be honest, like, it's pretty compelling. Story, voice acted all the way through, great character work and all that stuff. I mean, the story goes deep in World of Warcraft, it always has. And the deeper you go into the lore and the implications of what's going on, everything's voice acted, and there's just so much going on. It takes a little bit to digest, but if you want a world to jump into, it is a fantastic one to jump into. So, for me, the fact that as a solo player, I've got delves that I can challenge myself with up to 10 tiers as I progress through, and you're going to have multiple of those that you can go into. You've got quests that allow you to run into as a solo player, basically a dungeon with assistance and helps. And you're still going to have the big scale stuff towards the end game when you get to the high level stuff if you want to pursue it, but plenty of things to do as a solo player to experience the story, the campaign, and see everything that it's got to offer outside of probably like an in-game raid. I think that's absolutely fantastic, and I don't have a way to put a review score on this thing because I have not put enough time into it to have much of a thought of a review, but just the fact that it is this approachable as a solo player to jump in, just literally, hey, I haven't played World of Warcraft, I bought the epic thing, I got a level boost, here's my 70 character, what do I do? Go. Here's a bunch of abilities, you can do attacks, you're a little over leveled in the start, and now about level 73, 74, I'm getting gear that is about my level, I'm fighting some enemies that are a little bit harder, but the first couple levels are a little easier as it kind of ramps you into the difficulty, and then I've got plenty of challenge even just for myself as a solo player as I progress through all of this area, and then even over here into Hallowfall and Aztahit, there's going to be some pretty crazy stuff that you're able to do, I think, all along the way. And then I'm sure if there's a big raid, that's going to take a little bit more coordination. But overall, I mean, they had dungeon fighters and everything. Like, group finders, they're everywhere. Dungeon finder, pre-made groups, raid finders, they're all going to be there. Select your roles. That stuff is there. And honestly, it's kind of one of those that if you take a minute to like engage with the systems and work with other people, start low on difficulty and jump into the higher stuff, and you're gonna have a really good time, I think. So if you haven't played World in a while, they made it about as easy as possible to step back in. And if you've never played before, I gotta tell you, as a solo player, as a way to kind of get used to the environment, your combat loop and everything, you can challenge yourself for a little while and get a feel for it before you ever do the group activities, and that way you can start to feel comfortable bringing your skills to a group. So thank you very much, Blizzard and this partnership, for the opportunity. As I said, they did provide me a code, so I want to be clear about that one. But, I mean, honestly, yeah, I played thousands of hours before, so I'm probably going to have a pretty good time. But the speed at which I was able to jump in and hit the ground straight into basically battle, like, they didn't waste much time at all. It was pretty great. So if you guys are curious about World of Warcraft, definitely something I recommend looking into more, checking out. And I can honestly tell you, if you're looking for an MMO, this is still one of the best ones out there, and man, those cinematics are fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Check out my next videos. A lot of content coming from me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. Hope to see you back in the next video. I'll see you soon.